Good morning. Seems like I've been pondering for a very long time this morning. I could have started this an hour ago, but I've allowed the pondering to continue. And what have I been pondering about? The challenges of unity consciousness. Yes, I listened to my friend Paige's newest video before I went to bed last night, Awakening the Four Levels of the Heart. And the fourth level is about unity consciousness. And I woke up and that was on my mind, especially in light of some of the issues that have arisen the past few days, where I've had people criticize and challenge me, and I face the challenges of unity consciousness when I deal with such issues. I'm just an ordinary person like the rest of you. I don't have all the answers. I don't have a magic crystal ball that sees how everything is going to come in place. I do resonate with the principles of the ninth wave that this is a time of tremendous, tremendous change. Quantum change is happening, I believe. Right now we're in that window of opportunity for the human race to come together and to recognize the gifts in one another and to see with the eyes of the heart. One of the characteristics that I have had throughout my life is that I've always been able to identify with the underdogs, or what some people would say, the negative people. And perhaps some of you picked that up. My friend Steve Hart is an expert teacher on the Enneagram, and I took that class, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe now, year and a half anyway. And it didn't surprise him. He already had me pegged as to what I was, and I'm a 9, so a 9 in an Enneagram talking about the ninth wave makes perfect sense. What does a 9 do? A 9 sees everyone as part of themselves. A 9 almost has a natural propensity toward unity consciousness. Yet people that don't have that natural propensity often see the unity conscious person as off their rocker, not using their full capacity, when actually we're probably using more of our full capacity than the people that aren't 9s. I don't know how that works, and I'm certainly not trying to put myself on a pedestal above anyone else. 9s just simply wouldn't think that way, at least not on the positive attributes of a 9. But I do take criticisms and challenges to heart. Not always personally, because I know it's not just about me. I realize that, however, that there is still the consciousness of the critic within me. And I have paid a lot of attention and spent a lot of time studying how the world works on an economic level, on a political level, at the corporate level. Not because I necessarily wanted to, but because I was almost drawn to pay attention, Ron. Pay attention to what's going on. Look at it. Don't run away from it. Look at it and understand that it's all a part of you. Whether you like it or not, it's still a part of you. If you're going to see like I see, God would say to me, or my higher self would say to me, then you're going to have to see as I see. And I can't see I don't have the luxury of seeing something as separate. And that's all well and good, I guess, from God. My friend Margie always says, well, it's easy to be God. Being human is the challenge. And achieving unity consciousness as a human, or in a human society, is certainly a challenging thing. People write to me as if I have the answers and I see exactly how it's going to come about. I want to share with you, my friends. I wish I could see exactly how it was going to be about. I would have fewer times of stress when in my pondering than what I do. I mean, not that I live in stress all the time, but this week especially, I've been going back and dealing with some of those stressful issues. I was riding pretty much a wave of euphoria up even into the weekend as the weekend began. But as the weekend was fading away, and as we entered into the new week on Sunday, I began to deal again with what can be termed more negative energy. The euphoric wave was diminishing and a new wave was coming in. Is it the second night in the ninth wave, as Carl Kalaman teaches? Maybe so. Maybe that's what I'm feeling. But the challenge is, how do I integrate all these things, which I think I'm doing a pretty good job of doing compared to my history of how I've not done a good job sometimes in the past. But how does society do this? How does society reach the point where we recognize ourselves in each other and we stop slinging the crap and stop attacking each other, stop minimizing another person's point of view because it's not ours? How do we reach that point? I wish I had the answer for you. It's the challenge that we all face. Can anybody, any thinking person, honestly say that they believe that separation is the reality? Well, if they're a materialist or a modernist, as one man calls himself, I assume it's a man, not a woman, but it could be a woman, I'm not sure. Well, if you're only going to see from the physical perspective, which is how the world has seen for most of its existence, well, then we have a problem, because they can't see the spiritual or the mystical connections that exist. They're blind. They think they see, but they're blind. It's like Jesus said to the religious people of his day, the Pharisees, the people that were the fundamentalists, that had their heads buried in the scriptures and thought that the scriptures had the answers. And Jesus said, you search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, but you don't come to me that you might have life. He said, if you were blind, then you would see. But because you say you see, your blindness remains. They thought they had their answers. In the ego mind, they thought they had the answers. The answers were the scriptures. We have these things figured out. We've got it nailed. We know what's true and what's not true. And as Pilate said to Jesus, what is truth? I could say as Jesus said, I am. You could say as Jesus said, I am. But truth is not a concept or a belief. Truth is a reality that transcends all of the illusions. And there is unity and community that already exist. They already exist at that realm of consciousness. From that perspective, when you can get high enough to that perspective and see, and actually see the interconnection of all life. Quantum physicists do it, but yet there's a lot of people that claim intelligence that can't get it. Are they refusing? That's what it appears to me. There is none so blind as those that refuse to see. And there's an awful lot of very smart intellectual people that refuse to see. And they seem to me to be standing in the way of actually experiencing unity consciousness here on earth. What's it going to take to shift them? What's it going to take to shift that part of me that they represent in me, in my experience? I give you questions to ponder. A wise man is not always known, is probably never known by the definitiveness of their answers. A wise man is known by the seriousness of their questions. Are they willing to question? Are they willing to challenge their own preconceived ideas of what is true and what isn't true? Are they willing to see the other points of view? Are they willing to explore their own reality, their own life, their own experiences of life? Are they willing to really delve deeply and descend deeply into what makes a human human and what creates the ideas that we base our lives upon? What is the foundation for our belief systems? I challenge such things. I have always delved into such philosophical concepts, and it's gotten me in trouble with a lot of people because most people, as I observe, are not willing to do that. They have a tendency, as I have had a tendency sometimes in my life too, to think I've got it figured out. But I can look back even into my earlier years where I wrestled with philosophical concepts that were dipolar, that seemed to be totally opposite, and there was no way you could bring them together. Yet, in my own consciousness, I have been able to bring things together throughout my life and to say, okay, I can see how that works from a perspective, and I can also see how the opposite works from another perspective. So somehow I'm able to see from both perspectives, and I call that wisdom. I don't know what you want to call it. You can call it anything you want, but I call it wisdom. And that's the things that I'm wrestling with here this morning. The challenges of unity consciousness. And I'm going to leave you with that to think about. And to ask yourself, what are the challenges that I face? Are they mundane or are they philosophical? Mine obviously are quite philosophical, foundational to our experience. Anyway, I recognize the greatness that you are because I recognize it in me, despite our ordinariness and our challenges. Have a beautiful day, and God bless you. Have a beautiful weekend. It's Friday, April Fool's Day. Bye for now.